270 million XRP moved as Ripple continues to shift XRP over to China. And of course, the SEC are calling Ripple liars.
Let's get into it.
Alright guys, today we're going to be taking a look at two news articles that are interesting. We obviously have 270 million XRP shifting over to exchanges and between exchanges, and also that Ripple themselves are moving reasonable amounts of XRP over to China. Don't know why. We'll get into that in a moment. And of course, we'll also be touching lightly on the recent development with the SEC versus Ripple, and specifically this time what SEC are saying about Ripple in terms of how they are characterizing their defense. So we'll get into seeing what's going on there as well. We'll jump into the charts and see how the charts have been performing, see where those key levels are, and also what we think is going to likely happen here with XRP in the short little while. So as we get into this video, guys, if you find it useful, informative, maybe even entertaining at times, then do go ahead and hit that like button. We both really do appreciate it. And of course, if you happen to be new to the channel and you'd like to keep up to date with those new cryptocurrencies, the hidden gems, the technical analysis and news, then of course you can go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything we do here. It's free. You'll stay well informed. So why not? Make sure you smash that bell. Apparently, YouTube have told us that people aren't getting the notifications because you guys aren't smashing the bell. So yeah, hit the bell. But Chris, anything else that you want to kind of add before we jump on down and start talking about what's going on with this 270 million XRP?
Well, just going back to your comment about the notifications, you have to press that bell and select all notifications, not the personalized one. For some reason, personalized means you get some but not all. You know, if you're not a subscriber, subscribe, obviously keep yourself up to date, but you know, choose the option for all, and then you won't ever miss a thing, apparently.
All right,
but yeah, let us know in the comments below, you know, what your thoughts are. Are we going to see a settlement here, or is this just going to rumble on for months? Really interested to get a flavor for what people's thoughts and opinions are, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, drop it down in the comments below. What are your thoughts and opinions on the SEC lawsuit? Settlement, no settlement? Do you think it's a security? Do you not think it's a security? And then to finish it off, what do you think the end of the year price prediction is going to be for XRP? Really interested in knowing that one. Right, let's jump on down, Chris, and get right on into this.
Let's do it.
Okay, guys, we're starting off with this little piece here. So 270 million XRP has been moved. Okay, so this is quite a light touch. We'll get into the heavier stuff in a moment. But this one here basically is 270 million XRP on the move. So data shared by 𝗕𝗓𝗪 crypto tracking services shows that over the past 20 hours, a mammoth sum of 270 million XRP has been wired by several major exchanges. Meanwhile, Ripple, the fintech monster, does continue to regularly transfer XRP over to 𝗕𝗂𝗪𝗀, having slightly decreased its daily stashes. So again, 64.5 million XRP transferred from Bitstamp to an unknown wallet. And if we get down here, we can see what's going on in a little bit more detail. So this is just briefly summarized, but we have basically, according to the tweets shared by the 𝗕𝗓𝗪, we have a total sum of 269.5 million XRP in 3 transactions. It's a pretty sizable amount of XRP. Now, that basically equates to about $239 million of fiat. And these are a couple of these exchanges that are taking part in this. So we have 𝗕𝗂𝗪𝗀, Binance, and Coinbase, along with Bybit. So the largest amount of cryptocurrency that was sent was 175 million, which was moved from Bybit over to Binance. We had Bitstamp wiring 64.5 million XRP over to Coinbase, and 𝗕𝗂𝗪𝗀 sent 30 million over to Binance. So Binance seemed to receive the majority of this. What's going on there, we do not know. We also know that Binance are, basically stunting some of these cryptocurrencies as well with preventing withdrawals and deposits of certain cryptocurrencies. So I'm sure something's going on with Binance at the moment. We're just not sure. And of course, we have this little bit here just about how Ripple sends another XRP stash over to 𝗕𝗂𝗪𝗀. Again, this is about how Ripple are sending its daily regular XRP portions over to 𝗕𝗓𝗪, the biggest crypto trader in China. So why they're sending XRP over to this exchange, we do not know. It's not really clear here either. So if you do know, let us know in the comments below. I'm super interested. So since June 6th, daily amounts of XRP sent to 𝗕𝗓𝗪 by the company has been about 5.2 million coins. Prior to that, Ripple sent 6.6 million for about a week. So Ripple has been doing this for several months. No particular reasons for these transfers have yet been voiced. So really interested to know if anyone has any more detail as to why Ripple is sending so much XRP over to this exchange. Really interested to know that. Okay, let's get into the slightly heavier stuff, guys. Let's start talking about what is going on here when it comes to, of course, the fair notice. Okay, so basically Ripple had fair notice and is using an incorrect characterization of the law to win the lawsuit, according to the SEC, which of course they would say, right? So, I'm not going to read the summaries. I'm just going to get into this and see exactly what's going on. So the US SEC basically has responded to Ripple's latest defense, and in its latest filing, it has accused the company of misrepresenting the law to win the battle, okay, the legal battle. Now, Ripple had claimed that it had lack of fair notice that the SEC would consider XRP as a security. However, the SEC is claiming that the 70 plus other lawsuits it brought against other crypto companies should have been enough of an alert for Ripple that XRP is a security. Now, this is really interesting. I've seen quite a lot around this. This is another narrative or another take on the same piece of news, and ultimately. But the battle for fair notice. So Ripple's chances of victory in the legal showdown are, firmly etched in its ability to claim the lack of fair notice. I mean, it's a very strong defense as well. So this defense tactic relies on convincing the court that the regulator failed in its duty to let Ripple know that it was committing securities violations. However, the SEC has countered this defense by claiming that over 70 other lawsuits it had brought against other crypto companies were enough to let Ripple know it was in the wrong. Now, what's super interesting about this is actually these cryptocurrency companies are not actually cryptocurrency companies per se. They may have been dealing with cryptocurrency, but actually what they were selling were stocks. So I think there's only like 34 of them that were actually selling digital assets, whereas the other ones were actually committing security fraud. So it actually is less than half, just about. So interesting stuff that they're going for, saying it's 70 and that there are cryptocurrency companies, but actually when you dissect those 70 down, you can get into the detail. Now, this is something that I think a lot of people are aware of right by now anyway, but in Ripple's last filing, it claimed that its case is unique and nothing like the 75 other lawsuits the SEC undertook. Its lawyers stated the following. This is the very first case in which the SEC has ever brought an enforcement action against a company or its individual executives for selling or distributing an established digital asset, alleging that Section 5 of the Securities Act required registration of such sales. So the SEC wants the court to strike out this defense. In a response to Ripple's reply, the SEC basically claimed that Ripple is deliberately misinterpreting the law. And here you go, right? Here's the nonsense of it. But the regulator does state the following. This argument is based on an incorrect categorization of the fair notice defense. Ripple's argument boils down to this: because none of the SEC's prior digital assets cases involved the exact identical facts to this case, Ripple lacked sufficient fair notice such that it cannot be liable for violating Section 5's strict liability provisions. And again, I think this is then, I think both sides are kind of trying to stretch things, to their own advantage, obviously. And I think the SEC just are quite, clear on trying to go down one avenue and trying to remove the defense, as you would. But, we're still waiting, as far as I'm aware of trying to actually get our hands on the documents that they're refusing to hand over. So, give or take, can't have it both ways. So, this is a one-page response to Judge Torres. But fair notice does not require such exact factual correspondence, and Ripple cites no case that suggests anything on the contrary, and et cetera, et cetera. It goes on for a little bit here, and here's obviously the tweet that is documenting it. So this is super interesting. Again, when you actually dig into it in a little bit more detail, you realize that it's not exactly, you can't exactly take this at face value. There's actually more going on behind the scenes. And again, only 34, I want to say 34, it might be in 36, but around that number, of those 70 were actually selling digital assets. The other ones were actually selling stocks. So again, you have to strike those ones out of the equation here. So again, there were 34 others, and again, those were ICOs and not, an established digital asset. So I actually believe that Ripple are not misrepresenting the law, and it's the SEC that are trying to, basically stretch it to their own narrative. And again, we are still waiting for the documents. Where are those emails that, with their external communication? So I think the SEC are trying to deflect at this point. And again, they're not doing a very good job. I think most people can pretty much see exactly what they're trying to do here. So this is an interesting one. Thought it was worth kind of bringing up to you guys, see what the latest kind of developments are with the Ripple versus XRP, Ripple versus SEC case. Now, if we jump into the charts, we get a little bit more of an understanding how XRP is performing. So what we're going to do is we're going to start this off at the daily view. We'll pull this back down into our daily view so we can see exactly what is going on. And what you can see here, guys, is basically how XRP has been performing recently. We obviously have, the action of Bitcoin pulling things down to these lower levels and obviously bouncing up where it is today. Now, what we can do is obviously see lots of more clarity on how this is kind of forming right now. So again, if we zoom out, we can obviously see everything that has been happening in the past. We obviously have the crash here of March 2020, the rallies up here in late November, obviously the lawsuit being filed, crashing the XRP price right the way down here. This was courtesy of 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗡, and trying to benefit his friends, etc. So ultimately, what you see here is then obviously the recovery of this. We obviously have that pump and dump in the middle here. Otherwise, everything was kind of moving itself quite nicely, and we got some good highs. Bitcoin had the correction, and we can still see what's going on here. Now, obviously, we haven't hit all-time high levels with XRP yet. I'm still pretty confident that that is going to be the case. And obviously, as this SEC lawsuit nonsense comes to an end, there's going to be some fantastic highs that come out of this as well. So obviously, we have this Fibonacci retracement tool on here. This just shows us the key areas that we're looking to retrace up to. And again, this is the 618, the 702, the 786. So I'll put a little yellow box here. This is the area that we want to get into and cross through and get the closed candle above. That'll push XRP's price much further forward with a very, very bullish sentiment behind it. Now, obviously, with this, we can obviously see that there is a bit of a downward trend forming here. Now, trend lines, I don't tend to like to use them too much because they're the easiest things to invalidate. But if we do draw a couple of trend lines on here, you'll get a bit of an idea that there could be something forming between these two intersections. So this pullback here, if we get another bounce on this yellow line, we could start to see this get squeezed within this triangular wedge here on the daily, and then this could see things really go up and move in price. So really interesting to see how that one plays out. I'm just going to remove them for now, but we'll be paying attention to that on this daily chart for sure. And again, we have a really low relative strength index, and the volumes are also low. I've actually taken them off of here at the moment, and what I'm going to do is just throw on here the Bollinger Bands as well. So one of the interesting things that you can take a look at when you look at these Bollinger Bands is obviously how well this thing has been performing, and when it's basically at the lower end, obviously it's going to be moving up, and obviously we're getting a bit squeezed at the moment. So like we were squeezed over here, we had this pull down. We'll have to see what happens here when we get squeezed again. Are we going to break up or are we going to break down? Things will get clearer in due course for sure. We also have that 200 moving average, the 100 and the 50 moving average here on the daily chart, and again these are evenly spaced out, but again they're getting squeezed in as well. So everything's starting to come together and starting doing kind of like conversion together, ready for a bit of a breakout event or a breakdown event. So one of those two things will happen, and considering how low the relative strength index is right now, it's looking like more of a breakup than a breakdown. So we'll have to monitor that situation to see how that continues. Now what we're going to do is drop this back down into our hourly view, and again we still have those Bollinger Bands on, so we can see that squeezing really happening here, and we're right down the lower end of these Bollinger Bands. So my expectations are in the next few hours that the price of XRP is more than likely going to start increasing. We're already just above that 40 level of the relative strength index down here, right? So this is a really low relative strength index, so it can obviously go lower. I do prefer it to be in the 30 zone, but we are getting there. And as a result of where we are on these on this chart here, good strong support line just forming down here at about 85 cent, a pull down to reach that lower band of the Bollinger Bands there with a really low relative strength index. And if we have some good sentiment coming into the market here for XRP, we could definitely start seeing this thing potentially move to the upside. So for XRP right now, I think there's a short-term boost in price for sure. And again, that long-term picture, right, is I'm super confident on where XRP is going during this bull run that we are in. I can see us quite comfortably hitting that kind of $13 to $16 range. That seems to be pretty sensible area considering everything that is going on with the SEC lawsuit. And ultimately, once that is settlement, loss, win, doesn't really matter, XRP price will surge to the upside once it gets clarity, regardless of what that clarity is for the United States. Everywhere else in the world generally doesn't matter so much. Okay, so ultimately where we are right now is a pretty easy, reasonable area where we are likely to see a bit of a boost in the XRP price in the short term. And again, if we just go back up into our daily chart here, and what we can do is just pull this back down a tad. We can see obviously those Bollinger Bands. I'm going to quickly remove those because we don't need to see them anymore. Okay, and what I'm going to do is zoom out here, and we can just go to what the outcomes are looking like, right? So we have an all-time high of about $3.80. We obviously have the low from the March crash, which is quite clear. So put a Fibonacci extension, Fibonacci retracement on here with those extensions, and you start to see this thing go up there towards that $15.81. That's a pretty much where you're thinking that it's likely for XRP to kind of go back up to, and it's a pretty comfortable area considering everything that's going on, and it's a pretty reasonable position to be in after going past an all-time high. So if it goes up to all-time high, you'll be looking at that first price target of $6.10 in that price discovery phase, then going up to like $10, just short of that, up to 13, up to just shy of 16. And again, this thing can be extended much higher, right? So under some of those really fantastic scenarios where you get the best outcomes, you could see this thing potentially surging up to that $67 range as well. So XRP has such huge potential. It's going to be hard to see this thing potentially fall down anytime soon. Obviously, it's got some hurdles it does have to overcome, as most cryptocurrencies will have every now and again. But I think at the moment, Ripple seem to be doing a fantastic job of actually winning the current situation. They're winning the battles. Then we'll see if they win the war overall. But right now, I think the SEC aren't doing a very good job at trying to win, and they seem to be embarrassing themselves more than ever. So it'd be interesting to see how this thing does finally actually conclude. In my opinion, I do think it's going to be a settlement that's the most likely outcome for XRP. And I think this is just because ultimately the SEC do not want to give over that damning evidence regarding those emails and those external communications. And I also think that they've just kind of ballsed up a few too many times, that they need to kind of get this one across the line. If they cannot get that fair notice defense dismissed or crossed through and made irrelevant from this case, I think the settlement is the only real possible solution in the SEC's eyes. But Chris, is there anything else that you kind of want to kind of talk about in terms of XRP?
I just kind of feel this project is going to explode regardless of the outcome. So for me, it's a time to be accumulating. Obviously not financial advice, but that is what I'm doing. That's my opinion. And yeah, I'm going to continue to dollar cost average, although I don't use dollars, but you know what I mean, my way into the market, just to increase my position. So, I'm active in the market, on these dips, and that's going to continue.
Fantastic. Guys, if you found this useful, informative, do go ahead and hit that like button. We both really do appreciate that. And of course, if you happen to be new to the channel and you'd like to stay up to date with those new cryptocurrencies, those hidden gems, the technical analysis and the news, then why not go ahead and subscribe? By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything we do here. It is free. You'll stay well informed. So why not? Right. With that said, done and out of the way, guys, we hope you have a fantastic day and we'll catch you in the next one.
Yeah. Take care.